Hey everybody. On today's episode, I'm going to be doing a dish called Kofta bel spinach wal hummus, which translates to meatballs with spinach and chickpeas. It's a dish that you can find in Turkey, all along the Levantine area, and into Egypt. I'm going to do it sort of like the Egyptian way. Let's check it out. To start off, we're going to make an onion paste. So this is basically a chopped up onion, some cinnamon, bay leaf, and cloves, and this much water. What we're going to do is we're just going to evaporate the water down until we get something that looks like this, and then we put it in a food processor. That's onion paste. Now I'm using about 1 kilo of meat. In this particular case it's beef, but just get your butcher to grind it up fine, or just make sure it's double ground, nice and fine. Now here I'm using dried chickpeas. You can use canned, of course, and this means you'll skip the step, but basically you put them in a bowl, put it with cold water, and you soak it overnight until they plump up and look like this. So once you've strained them off, we're going to put the chickpeas into a pressure cooker, we're going to cook them up, and we're going to add some spices to it. This just gives it a little extra flavor. So first, I'm going to add a bay leaf, throw it in there, boom. Next, I'm going to add a little bit of a cinnamon stick. Doesn't have to be too big, just a little bit. And then we get ready to make our meatballs. So here, I have my onion paste, which I buzzed up, a bowl of clean water, our freshly ground meat that we've kept in the fridge, and a clean plate. First step is to dump the onion paste directly into the meat, and then we're going to start kneading it with our hands. It's a fairly efficient way to do it, and I highly recommend that you do. Just put it in there, squish it with your fingers, and then the onion paste gets incorporated all over. Next, we're going to season it. I'm going to use about 1 teaspoon of salt here, as well as some pepper, and then we continue kneading. Now we're getting on to the kneading part. So first, we get our hands all wet with water, and we're going to grab a small piece of meat about the size of a walnut, and we're going to roll it around in our hands. The water prevents it from sticking to your hands, but also it allows for the fats that are in the meat to sort of slick up and help it form into a nice round shape. It's fairly easy to do. Like you see here, I just put it into my hands, form a roughly shaped ball, and then I'm going to open my hands, almost like you're clapping, put the meat in between, and you just start rolling around like so. So repeat the process until you've rolled up all the meat into a bunch of meatballs. Next, we're going to shallow fry them. What does that mean? Well, we have a cast iron pan, medium-high heat, with just a bit of oil on the bottom. This to ensure that we get a nice brown coating on the outside, but it's not fully cooked. Don't overcrowd the pan. Fry the meatballs in little batches, and you'll get something that looks like this. Brown on the outside, still tender on the inside. And then, we're going to add all of this with our vegetables and cook it some more. So to start off with, I'm going to put about 1/4 cup of butter into a big pan, and we're going to wait until it foams up, and then we're going to add some spinach. Now I'm using frozen here, which I've defrosted a bit, but you could use fresh. Just make sure you cook it down until it wilts. And then, after a few minutes, we're going to add our cooked chickpeas directly in with our spinach. And then, after that, we're going to add our fried meatballs right on top, to which we're going to add about 1/2 cup of liquid. I'm using vegetable stock in this case, not for takleya. This is basically garlic and coriander which has been fried in oil. This is a flavoring that we pour over. So you heat olive oil until the garlic separates out and browns a little bit, just like this. We add our ground coriander over the top until it smells sweet. Then after the 1/2 hour, we pour the hot oil mixture over. Now this gives like a garlic coriander infusion flavor all over this meat. It's a fantastic flavoring, and I highly recommend that you do it. In Egypt, this is pretty much the way they do it. Sometimes they add chili pepper too. It's well worth it. Good old-fashioned comfort food. Share, like, and subscribe, and I hope you have a great week.